Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Varachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Varachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Kunja Vihari Namo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parabrahmacharya Satta His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Sundar Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mathura Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Lord Jagannath Ki Jai all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The discussion today will be based on text number 53 from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 47. Again, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 47, verse number 53. Shishuka uvacha Tattasta Krishna Sandeshayar Vyapetta Viraha Jvaraha Vyapetta Viraha Jvaraha Uddhavam Puchayam Chakrur Yadvatmanam Adokshajam Shichuka Uvacha Tattasta Krishna Sandeshayar Vyapetta Viraha Jaraha Uddhavam Puchayam Chakrur Yadvatmanam Adokshajam. Third time. Shri Shuka Uvacha Tattasta Krishna Sandeshayar Vyapetta Viraha Jvaraha Uddhavam puchayam chakrur Yadvamanam adhokshajam. Devotees, please. Shishuka uvacha Tattastha Krishna Sandeshayara Vyapeta viraha jaraha Uddhavam puchayam chakur Yadvatmanam adokshayam. Shishuka uvacha Tattastha Krishna Sandeshayara Yapetta viraha jaraha Uddhavam puchayam chakrur Yatmamanam adokshajam. Shuka uvacha Tattastha Krishna Sandeshayara Yapetta viraha charaha Uddhavam puchayam chakrur Yavatmanam adokshajam. Synonyms. Shishuka uvacha. Shishukadeva Goswami said, Tataha, then, ta, they, Krishna sandeshahi, by the messages from Krishna, vyapeta, removed, viraha, of their separation, jwaraha, the fever, udhavam, uddhava, pujayam, pujayam chakruhu, worshipped, yadva, recognizing him, atmanam, himself, adokshajam, as the Supreme Lord. Translation and purport. Shukadeva Goswami continued, Lord Krishna's messages having relieved their fever of separation, the gopis then worshipped Uddhava, recognizing him as non-different from their Lord Sri Krishna. Please repeat. Shukadeva Goswami continued, Lord Krishna's message having relieved their fear of separation, the gopis then worshipped Uddhava, recognizing him as non-different from their Lord Krishna. And there's a very short purport. Srila Sridhar Swami states that the words Yadvatmanam Adokshajam also indicate that the gopis recognize Lord Krishna to be their very soul, or the very soul of their lives, and thus spiritually one with them. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinavando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Prishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpataro Yascha Kripa Sindhu Yavacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So please join me and hold on tight, because this verse is so rich All the commentaries are so powerful. So I'll go ahead and read them, and then I'll start the class by making a reference to the previous verse, number 52. So please hold on tight. They're very long, and they're very powerful. And so we begin with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. His commentary reads, when out of sorrow the gopis' hopes for Krishna's return grew dim, and they became eager for death, Uddhava made them happy by speaking different, very confidential matters. That is the significance of the word after that, tataha. They were relieved of the fire of separation by other messages, which were not different from the previous confidential messages. Then they became satisfied. Though Shukadev has not described those messages, one can understand them by the results they had on the gopis, how the gopis reacted and how they felt after hearing the messages. And this is from Krishna. He's speaking in his message. O women most dear to my life, close your eyes in front of Uddhava, who has been sent by me. And listen to this very carefully, because this is a very, very magical thing that's going to happen. I'll start from the beginning of this sentence, of this paragraph. That's Krishna speaking. O women most dear to my life, close your eyes in front of Uddhava, who has been sent by me. Just as the cowherd boys closed their eyes and were delivered from the first fire, closing your eyes, I will deliver you from the fire of separation. Just see my power of yoga. This is yoga mystic power. So what's going to happen here? Hearing this, they close their eyes. In a flash of a second, Yogamaya brought forth millions of years of time. And in that expanse of time, Krishna performed his rasa dance, playing with dice, drinking liquor, water pastimes, and swing pastimes, so that they, the gopis, forgot the pain of separation completely. So they're having this experience like a dream, spurti, that encompasses millions of years of time with millions of pastimes. Seeing that they were filled with bliss, Uddhava said, now ladies, open your eyes. They opened their eyes and recognized that they had taken a new birth through the bestowal of 1,000-fold bliss when they had closed their eyes. That was a gift from Krishna. That was a gift from Krishna. Krishna is the one who gave them the instruction to do that. And the word adokshaya here is describing adha, meaning downward, aksha, eyes, and ja, birth, adoksha ja. They then worshipped Uddhava by lowering their eyes, by closing their eyes. They took a new birth. Of course, we know adokshaya is referring to Krishna, and adokshaya means that he cannot be conceived or understood by material senses. That's the meaning of the word. He is the controller of all the senses. And now another part where Krishna is saying to them, and Uddhava is repeating this message. O women filled with prema, if you're still trying to give up your life, just listen. And listen, let us listen, because this has been said to us also. Do not doubt that hearing of your death, I will also give up my life. Swearing 1,000 times, I say that you should remain alive. Though I am trying to go to Vraja at every moment, I am unable to go. I fear that it is because of the time, karma, prema, whose characteristics have been explained, or due to some obstacle. So there's a play from the end of the 15th century. It's an English play. It's called Every Man, and some of you in studying literature, English literature, may have come across this. It's a play that has no known author, and it deals with how a person can be saved. And so because of the title, Every Man, it means that even though it's a play, it's addressed to all people who read it or hear it. And what happens when Krishna is showing Arjuna his universal form? He is dazzling him. But we have to remember that the way that Arjuna reacts is very different from the impersonalists. And we'll see this in a minute. But another point is that Krishna is talking to Arjuna, but Krishna is not talking only to Arjuna. When he's reciting the verses, the song of the Bhagavad Gita, who is he talking to? All of us. He's talking to all of us. And when we listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Srimad Bhagavatam can be understood as lots of beautiful stories, stories about Krishna, stories about his devotees, really amazing happenings and completely unbelievable deeds and very strange things that happen in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can sit and we can watch and we can listen. And it's very good if we listen, because that's what we are required to do. But it is not being told as a novel or a play. It's told to us, for us to learn, for us to be actually absorbed into the pastimes so that we can also identify what was happening there. The same thing is happening here. So let's take that perspective that Krishna is telling us. No, he's just talking to the gopis, he's talking to everyone. Because we are aspiring to that position. And eventually it's going to come to pass. It's going to happen. So what are the instructions it's given the gopis? We can actually assimilate them and put them inside our consciousness and be ready to motivate ourselves from that platform. So continuing with the passage. By such messages, their pain of separation caused by their thinking that Krishna had no love for them was dissolved completely. All these verses that came before this one, 53, about 15 verses, the gopis were just trying to figure out, is he not loving us? Does he not love us? They're so upset, and they're so wrought in agony, thinking that maybe all of this that's happening is because Krishna doesn't love them. But now, the pain of separation was completely dissolved. They recognized Krishna, Adokshaja, as similar to themselves, being afflicted by pain of separation, Atmanam. Or they recognized Krishna as their very life, Atma Nam. Atma meaning own, and Anam meaning breathe or prana. And then they worshipped Uddhava. So now the gopis are speaking. Oh Uddhava, you have spoken well. Even though it is difficult, we will remain alive. If you had not given this message, we would have died, and everything would have been destroyed. So they are acknowledging now the great favor that Uddhava is doing for them, which is bringing them back to life, or to the desire to stay alive. You have done a good act by fulfilling our desire to protect everyone, and thus we worship you. Initially they worshipped Uddhava because they thought that he was probably an emissary from Krishna because he looked so much like Krishna, and he was so attractive in so many ways, but they were so wrought with pain and so destroyed inside that their way they worshipped him was not in peace, with love, with appreciation. Now it's going to happen, starting with the verse number 53. The external meaning that the gopis accepted Paramatma Adokshaja as Jivatma or Atmanam is another case of a statement used to bewilder the asuras. It's interesting because as we read this, we will see that the presence of Atma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan is pervading in these commentaries. How Krishna is everything. He's the Atma, he's the Paramatma, he's the full energy, he is the Supreme Person. So I'll repeat this. The external meaning that the gopis accepted Paramatma Adokshaja as Jivatma, as a Jivatma, Sanatma, is another case of a statement used to bewilder the Asuras, to confuse the Asuras. For the Prema Bhakta, oneness of the Lord and the Jivas is insipid. It has no taste. We don't want to be one with the Lord. We want to have a relationship with the Lord, not just to blend into some kind of oneness. What to speak then, how repulsive it would be for the crown jewel among devotees to think such a thing. Sridhar Swami, knowledgeable of the purports of the scripture, has said, any person who has become mad with bliss in the nectarian ocean of topics of Krishna thinks of the four goals of human life as insignificant, like grass. So when a person has been already bitten by this madness of love of Krishna, nothing else matters. What to say about these material goals of human life? It can be seen that it is not possible that fully developed prema can ever become covered by a strong dose of Atma Gyan. In other words, Gyan, knowledge of being who we are. When Vasudeva and Arjuna saw the Maha Ishvarya aspect of the Lord, their parental and friendly relationships were covered by Dasya Bhakti. In other words, they were in a relationship of Bhakti, but they were so overwhelmed by this vision of the Supreme Lord's Ishvarya form that they felt like you should serve this form, Dasya, but with a sentiment of Bhakti. But not by Brahma Gyan. They were not Brahmavadis, they were not impersonalists. It has been seen that the inhabitants of Raj were merged in Brahma Gyan, they were immersed in Brahma Gyan, but this was only to show that they have no taste for Brahma Gyan. In other words, they were given the opportunity to have that experience to just pull away from it because that had no taste for them. So these are lessons for us. These are lessons for us, right? Like not get involved in impersonalism, for example. Krishna brought them to the lake of Brahman, and after merging them in it, brought them out. The words brought them out or delivered them is used, just as the jivas are all delivered from the ocean of samsara. The inhabitants of Raj were delivered from, you would say, the ocean of the repulsive Brahman, which is really denies who we are because we are eternal lovers of the Supreme Lord. Doesn't give us the opportunity for us to be who we are. If the gopis had developed monistic Atmagyan, in other words, we are the same as the Supreme, we are the Supreme ourselves, then they would have not spoken to Balaram in the way they did when he later returned to Vraj. The gopis, and this is a quote from chapter 65, which of course we're in chapter 47 now, is verse number 10. The gopis respectfully, on seeing Balaram, asking him while laughing, "Is Krishna dear to the women of Mathura? Is he happy there?" And I'm going to get to the verse, so we can. I won't read the Sanskrit because I have lots of verses I'm going to read, but we don't have much time, so it will not be Sanskrit will not be used here. Okay, the verse is, and please bear in mind that this is a chapter 65. We haven't got there yet. Does he remember his family members, especially his father and mother? Do you think he will ever come back even once to see his mother? And does the mighty armed Krishna remember the service we always did for him? commentary, or purport, sorry. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments that the gopis will render service to Lord Krishna by stringing flower garlands, skillfully using perfumes, and constructing fans, beds, and canopies out of flower petals. By these simple acts of love, the gopis render the greatest service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We'll continue to with the commentary. Other gopis said, "It is astonishing that the intelligent women of Mathura have faith in the words of the ungrateful, fickle-hearted Krishna." There are so many comments going back and forth. There are so many things that are being experienced. Other gopis said, they must have developed faith in his words by an increase in lust through his sweet, laughing glances. And again, we're going to go to the same chapter 65, and this is verse number 13, where they say, how can intelligent city women possibly trust the words of one whose heart is so unsteady and who is so ungrateful? They must believe him because he speaks so wonderfully, and also because his beautiful smiling glances arouse their lust. But if you look at the 64 qualities of Krishna, of course Krishna has unlimited qualities. They are ever increasing too. Number 17 is Krishna is grateful. And this is one, to me, in my case, for me, is one of the most endearing qualities of Krishna. Because Krishna is everything, is the doer of everything, is the lover of everyone, is the protector of everyone, is the well-wisher of all of us. He's our most intimate friend. And he's always doing for us, and yet he's grateful. It's unbelievable. Such future words spoken by the gopis, as the verse I just read, indicating their ignorance of Atma or Brahman and their ignorance of jealousy, could not be possible if they had attained the stage of Brahmagyan. How could they possibly express their ignorance or express their jealousy about their relationship with the Supreme Lord if they were impersonalists? It's impossible. Now, Jiva Goswami writes, Krishna had said, "You are never actually separated from me." And this is verse 10:47-29, one of the verses we saw recently. So let me go there. I'll read the verse. The Supreme Lord said, "You're never actually separated from me, from I am the soul of all creation." Now here we have the aspect of the Paramatma. We already saw the aspect of impersonalism, Brahmagyan, and now we see this manifestation where the soul, Krishna is the soul of every living entity. The Supreme Lord said, "You're never actually separated from me, for I am the soul of all creation." Just as the elements of nature, ether, air, fire, water, and earth, are present in every created thing, so I am present within everyone's mind, life, air, and senses, and also within the physical elements and the modes of material nature. So he's the soul of all souls. He's the Paramatma. He also said, "Because your minds are totally absorbed in me and free from all other engagement, remember me always. You will very soon have me again in your presence eternally." And this goes back to verse 36 from this chapter, where Sri Krishna is saying, "Because your minds are totally absorbed in me and free from all other engagements, you remember me always, and so you will very soon have me again in your presence." But by this message, which acted like a great mantra, by many of these verses you could consider them to be mantras, the gopis were relieved of their agitation and great suffering arising from separation. And Srila Prabhupada in the Krishna book makes a comment about how Lord Chaitanya taught us that love in separation is the highest form of Krishna Prema, because that's the one stimulus that incites our love to grow on and on for all times. By this message, which acted like a great mantra, the gopis were relieved of their agitation and great suffering arising from separation. Of course, we know that their love was increasing, and this suffering was another form of ecstasy, what we call suffering in as a material concept. Has nothing to do with the suffering that the gopis are experiencing. So many points have been made on this issue. But the message did not remove the separation, which could only be relieved by his coming. They worshipped Uddhava in a way befitting a guest to the best of their ability in that condition. Previously they had begun to worship him, but it was faulty because of their grief. Now they worshipped him properly. Remember that they have just now experienced this purti, where for millions of years they have been with Krishna, and in all the activities that Krishna is doing, witnessing, participating, experiencing, and how this has been injected into their consciousness, this joy a million times fold, as it was said here by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. How could their fever of separation be annulled simply by instructions? Krishna is described as Gyavat Manam Adokshajam. The first meaning is as follows. I know he's going to give, Jiva Goswami is going to give us 4 different meanings. The first meaning is as follows. And this, I'm not going to read this, I'm just going to explain it. The first meaning is whenever the person says something, you have to state the subject very clearly right from the beginning. One cannot, it's a grammatical rule, one cannot just say something about, for example, and so they left. And we don't know who they are. So the first thing is to indicate my mother and her sisters left, my friends left. And then you can say, and they took with them some prasadam for the picnic, say, for example, right? So the first point is that Krishna is being stated here as the subject of everything right from the beginning. So everything that is being said is pertaining to Krishna for the gopis to hear. This is all about Krishna. So they understood from the teachings that Krishna was Paramatma. Atma in this interpretation means the Atma of all beings, Sarvatma. Adokshaya, by conventional meaning is always Krishna. It's expressed here the etymological meaning that is the word Adosaja is that Krishna is the owner of all the senses, and we also understand it has several meanings. And there is a play of words that is going on because the acharyas they're totally Sanskritist, and they are expert in dividing the words into so many ways to indicate so many different things, and all of them are nectarian. And I know there's 5 minutes left, right? Okay. All right. But the word sarva, in other words, everywhere, preventing the soul, the super soul, also can mean parama. Parama is supreme. Thus, it can refer to the supreme form. Here we have Bhagavan, propounded by the advocates of Achintya Shakti. Though this is the particular meaning, is combined with the word me, meaning by me. So Krishna is talking about himself. Thus, it specifically refers to Krishna according to the context. So we have seen the Brahmagyan, we have seen the Paramatma, and now we're starting to see Krishna, the Supreme Person. And of course they have, which we have been seeing practically from the beginning of the Bhagavatam, and we will see until the end. And so there is this verse that's extremely important. Vadanti tadvad vidas tadvan ya jnanam advayam parameti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So the acharyas are weaving into the commentaries all these aspects. And this is from Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 11. Very, very important verse. You should know Krishna to be the soul of all living entities. For the benefit of the whole universe, he has, out of his causeless mercy, appeared as an ordinary human being by the strength of Maya. So the first line of this verse establishes that Krishna is the supreme shelter of prema for all beings. How? By his own nature. That's his nature. As Krishna's nature, he can't help himself. Krishna, in the present chapter, taking the first meaning of his words, Krishna preaches impersonalism in order to destroy the time that the gopis was spent, it's another important point, suffering from separation by creating detachment from him, and to cover the other two meanings which were very confidential. In other words, he wants to kind of be portrayed as that impersonal oneness so that gopis would feel a little bit of relief from the intense pain of separation due to their very intimate relationship with him. However, from hearing again, they understood that the meaning was Krishna, not the impersonal Brahman, since Krishna alone was present in his purti at all times, everywhere, and by the very nature of his outstanding love, which they could understand, since he was inspiration of all their senses. The second meaning is they understood that just as Krishna realized them, they, the Atmanam, realized him. It was mutual. They considered there was a union between him and themselves because of the spurti with his inherent qualities. And the third meaning is they understood themselves and Krishna, because your minds are totally absorbed in me and free from all other engagement, remember me always, you will soon have me again in your presence eternally. And there's a fourth meaning. And the fourth meaning is they would attain him very soon. On realizing that they would attain him, and he would attain them by means of Krishna's instructions, they gave up the pain of separation and worshipped Uddhava. And I think we're running out of time, so I think I'm going to stop here. There's a little bit more, but I would encourage everybody to read this commentary with all the whole philosophy that we are hopefully imbibing is present here. Coming to the point of looking for the absolute truth by becoming an impersonalist, moving into the Paramatma as a yogi, and then having the relationship of pure love with the Supreme Lord Sri Bhagavan himself, Sri Krishna. And then the cherry on the top is the relationship of Krishna with his beloved gopis, whom we are aspiring to come to eventually in the course of time. So if anybody has any comments or questions, realizations, because we have, 1 minute? Please speak now or forever remain silent. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai. Srila Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Commentaries Ki Jai. Shri Goloka Tam Ki Jai. All the service of the devotees Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalayatakam Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Nandar Agom Vidamaniya Nishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Angani yasa sakalen Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami 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 Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham
Adyanta Todrutya Gopya Rudantam Mohor Netra Yugmam Rajantam Karamboja Yugmena Satanka Netram Rudantam Mohor Netra Yugmam Rajantam Karamboja Yogmena Satanka Netram Muhaswasa Kampatir Kanka Kanta Stita Griva Damodaram Bhakti Badam Muhaswasa Kampatir Kanka Kanta Stita Griva Damodaram Bhakti Badam Iti Drikswalila Birananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Iti Driksvalila Birananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadi yeshi tad yeshu bhaktar jitadvam Guna prema tastam shatta vritti vande Tadi yeshi tad yeshu bhaktar jitadvam Guna prema tastam shatta vritti vande Varam deva moksham, na moksham davimva, na chanyam vrineham vareshadapiha. Varam deva moksham, na moksham davimva, na chanyam vrineham vareshadapiha. Idam te vapurnata gopala balam sadame manastya virastam kimanyai. Idam te vapurnata gopala balam sadame manastya virastam kimanyai. Idam te mukumbo jama Adyanta nilayar Ritam kundulai snigda raktasya gopya Idam te mukambojam Adyanta nilayar Ritam kundulai snigda raktasya gopya Muhushchumbitam bimba raktam darame Manasya virastam alam laksha labhai Muhushchumbitam bimba raktam darame Manasya virastam alam laksha labhai Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabni Magnam Namo Deva Damodarananda Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabni Magnam Kripa Dristi Vristadittinam Bhatanu Grihanesha Mamagyam Ejakshi Drishya Kripa Dristi Vristadittinam Bhatanu Grihanesha Mamagyam Ejakshi Drishya Kuveratmajo Bada Morjaiva Yadvat Twaya Mochitau Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Kuveratma Jobada Morjaiva Yadvat Twaya Mochitau Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe graho mesti damodareha Tata prema bhaktim swakame prayacha Namokshe graho mesti damodareha Namaste studamne sparadipti damne Twadiyo darayata vishvasya damne Namaste studamne sparadipti damne Twadiyo darayata vishvasya damne Namo radhikayai twadiyai priyayai Namo nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namo Radhikaya Twadiyai Priyayai. Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namo Radhikaya Twadiyai Priyayai. Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe. Jaya Radha, Damodara Radha, Damodara Radha. Jaya Radha, Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radhe. Jaya Golokananda, Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Radha, Lokananda Radha Golokananda Radha. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Radha Lokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya 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 Giri Govardhan. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Shri Shri Radha Damodar Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Jai, Jai 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 Shri Radhe Sham. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses the form, eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose listening hearing swing to and fro, who manifests himself into a pool, whose soul is abutted to the gopis contained in the rapidly of the storeroom, and then quickly jumped up and ran, retreating in fear of running short of it, but with all the thought, that's the good. Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased with me. I am sorrow, and I'm almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me. Uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Lord Damodar, in your form as the baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kubera, Manigriva, and Malakubara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them a chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, which was born from your advent, bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. This rope I offer my obeisant sister, your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and to your unlimited pastimes, Sri Sri Radha Damodar Ki Jai. Chaito Darpana Marjanam, Baba Mahadavaki Nirvapanam, Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam, Vijavadu Jivanam, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, Pratipanam Pranamitaswadanam, Sarvatma Snapanam, Parmijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, Tatrapita Niyamita Smarane Nakala, Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi, Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga,